Okay. Yeah, so my name is Orla Gibbons, and I'm a project officer in the climate and environment team at South Cambridgeshire District Council. So first of all, I thought I'd give you a flavour of what we're doing as a district council in our journey to net zero. Um, so we sort of see it in the sense that we need to get our own house in order first, and we're trying to embed sort of climate thinking and ecological and carbon assessments in every service area. So this is a priority area for us, which we call being green to our core. So we try to think about every decision and contract and assess it in against those ambitions of carbon reduction. So to do this, we've introduced a climate impact assessment tool for all bids every financial year. We're very lucky at South Cambridgeshire to have very strong political support for our climate ambitions, and we have a very active and vocal climate and environment advisory committee who guide our work and are real sources of inspiration. Yeah, so although I think we are, as a council, although we're a large employer and obviously a big service provider, responsible for under 2% of emissions in South Cambridgeshire, um, yeah, we feel it's important to kind of lead by example in that way. So some other projects on our own estate have been our progress towards electrifying our refuse fleet. A third of our emissions are from our waste collection service. So we've been gradually replacing vehicles with electric vehicles, and we have plans for a large solar array at our Waterbeach depot to power those vehicles ultimately. We're also undertaking a large-scale retrofit, so increasing the energy efficiency of our own housing stock. And we've been doing some work to, we're not a large landowner as district councils go, but on the housing land that we do own, trying to find pockets where we can make new space for nature and increase biodiversity. And then looking outward into the district, some kind of big projects we're working on at the minute would be our private housing retrofit. We work in partnership with all the Cambridgeshire councils to deliver funding from central government to offer fuel poor and energy inefficient houses, fully funded energy improvements. And we also run a programme of events, networking, seminars over the course of the year, our Green Connect sessions, and then we've also got an upcoming climate conference. So yeah, we do try to be present and have a voice on climate issues and share knowledge where we can. And yeah, we see our role as a district council as equipping communities to take action and yeah, offering support. So yeah, here's just some photos. One of our shiny new electric bin lorries. The fleet manager sent me this photo. He's so proud of these new lorries. It's great. And that's to our leader there, Bridget Smith, looking very, very small actually. And Brian Milnes, our deputy leader, underneath the new solar carport, which is part of the large retrofit of our office building, which is slowly, I think, coming to a close now. So ground source heat pumps, new lighting, the whole works. And yeah, so I think another aspect of our climate work as a district council that I'm personally quite proud of is I think we do take accountability and respond to comments and suggestions. So I don't know if I imagine some of you will have heard of the climate scorecard, the Climate Emergency UK scorecard. So it's a volunteer group that assess councils against various sort of measurable green objectives. And one thing that came out of a previous scorecard was the introduction of carbon literacy training for all of our staff to bring all staff members on board, even if they don't work directly in a climate and or environment capacity, to embed that learning into their own work in their own service area. So yeah. So moving on to how we support communities and what we can offer you as climate leaders. So yeah, mainly it would be funding, and I think we have quite a diverse and positive range of grant schemes available, the largest of which being our Zero Carbon Communities grant scheme, which is also the name of the kind of wider programme of climate provision that we have, but it is our sort of flagship annual grant scheme with a large pot of £125,000. and community groups and parish councils can bid for up to £15,000 per project. So we kind of have gone through various evolutions of this grant scheme in terms of what themes we invite projects under each year. So in the past, we've had themes including like active travel, waste and plastic reduction, but it tends to be, we tend to often invite projects for community buildings to reduce their carbon emissions. And we're also always keen to see projects that engage people around climate change and sustainability, broaden that engagement beyond the usual audience, and then also encourage real behaviour change. So pictured there is Cotton Village Hall, which I think they received a full £15,000 to install solar panels and a battery in the roof of their village hall. So yeah, and yeah, I'm trying to think of other sort of exciting examples. I mean, there's been lots. I mean, you'd be surprised how many sort of bicycle racks that have popped up around South Cambridgeshire District have been funded through zero carbon communities. There was electric cargo trike in Orchard Park. A really kind of interesting array of projects, and all led by community groups. Yeah, so that's probably our biggest grant scheme from a kind of green perspective. We also have our community chest, which is smaller pots of money, and is kind of more broadly focused. So there's a pot for cost of living, there's a pot for projects that promote healthy, active communities. But I thought of sort of specific interest for this group would be our biodiversity pot within the community chest. So this is a ring-fenced fund for projects that enhance biodiversity, create new habitats, and pictured there is a new pollinator garden that was made at Wandlebury Country Park. So yes, up to £2,000 in a financial year for groups. So you could apply twice and get £1,000 each time.
Sorry.
You're right. So there's that sense of whilst the ZCC grant is once a year and probably is going to take you quite a lot of preparation, and is then like kind of there'll be long-term plans for that money. The community chest is operating on a more rolling basis. So if you make your application before the 7th of every month, it'll then be assessed at the grants advisory committee in that same month. So yeah, that one is open to parish councils as well, and other community groups, although I will say that if the project is to be on parish council land, the parish council are expected to match fund a sort of 50% contribution. So that's something to bear in mind there. Next grant I've got listed there would be our electric vehicle charge point grant. So this is something that we've brought in to try and up the kind of density of electric vehicle charges in the district. And these are specifically ones for public use, so community buildings, and we've been trialling them in sheltered housing car parks as well. So this is up to £5,000 towards the cost of installing one of these. Then we are trying to kind of expand our offer of free tree programs. So we have our kind of annual 6 free trees, which was formerly 3 free trees, but that was such a mouthful that I think it was doubled almost to make it easier for us as well. So that's just launched recently, and that offers parish council 6 free trees each, and the only kind of contract there is just committing to upkeep and planting, of course. But yeah, and we have several other kind of tree projects in the works. For instance, we're currently collaborating with Community Payback to plant trees. So that would be led by communities, but then the labour would be provided by people doing community service. So yeah, in terms of focusing in on how to work with local authorities or what else we can do for you, I think a big one would be to cross promote and publicise. So we do a quarterly newsletter where we're always very happy to share anything that you might have coming up in your groups, and vice versa. We can let you know about grants that we might have come across, or events that we're putting on ourselves. So yeah, it's a nice, I mean, yeah, we're sort of expanding that network of partners that we have, and yeah, we're always keen to kind of profile exciting bits from around the district. So I would really encourage you to sign up for that, because that's one of our sort of main avenues of communication in the climate team. Yeah, and do look out for our future Green Connect events. So those are again quarterly, sometimes online, sometimes in person, seminars and Q&A sessions, usually on a sort of specific topic. Yeah. So in terms of making the council work for you, I was having a sort of reflection on this. And the main thing for me, which I'm sure Paul will be speaking on, is just engaging with your elected members. You know, action within the council is so often brought about by a particularly passionate and interested elected member. And I think, although they do tend to happen during the day when you might be busy, it's always good to remember that council committees and advisory groups are open to the public, and you can come and witness and participate. I think also you can, if thinking about the sort of tiers of local governance in Cambridgeshire, you know, you could also look to your parish council if you're not on it yourself, or if they haven't already made these steps to sort of, you know, lobby them to make climate change a priority. And there are some resources on our website to assist parish councils in sort of declaring a climate emergency and making those first steps. So yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of some contacts and follow-ups. Various inboxes, these will be circulated afterwards if you're looking to direct an inquiry anywhere specifically. But yeah, I think that's all. And then I was just going to add one thing to your mention of the PEC 30 for 30 grant, Alana. So we saw that advertised. We thought it was really cool as well, and reached out to kind of see what the parameters would be in terms of like the sort of mileage, or, you know, the radius. And they said they considered the whole of South Cambs district to be eligible, even though kind of drawing in a straight line, I didn't know if it would be, but they said they're quite flexible on that front.
Oh,
So
perfect. That's really good to know.
so yeah, I think that's everything from me.